Hello everyone, I'm T-Drinker and welcome back to DanganRonpa. Now, Nagato is dead. You have no idea how happy that makes me. And, unfortunately, I believe it may be time for his trial. And, frankly, I don't want anybody else to die. The best one to do that has already done it.
Damn right.
Looks like everyone's here.
Huh? Is this it? Shouldn't there be more people?
Damn it.
Stop it, you're making me depressed.
Stupid fool.
So is it going to happen again? A cruel conflict where we must doubt our friends?
Well, once we're through this, we can go back, right?
That's right.
That Monokuma bastard said so, didn't he? He says it's the last class trial.
Damn it.
We've been tricked every step of the way. There's no way I can believe that so easily.
Of course not.
Why can't you believe it? The guy who's making us do all this is the one saying it, you know.
You know, right?
That's why I'll definitely survive. If we can really go home after we deal with this class trial,
That's right.
I'll definitely find out who the killer is, no matter what, even if I have to pull out all the stops.
You.
What the fuck? Why are you here?
You haven't realised it yet? The villain wants to leave this island. Thinking like that is Monokuma's trap, you know?
Huh?
What are you saying?
Got it? There's no way Monokuma will end things here. He's planning something far worse.
Stop trying to drink us.
I'll beat you up.
Is that right? Stupid rabbit should just show up.
Everyone, you mustn't run away from despair.
Huh?
I finally realised after losing my powers. I've realised that cursing your powerlessness or your fate accomplishes nothing. The possibility may be small, but as long as it's a possibility, you must face it. In order to become someone who can be proud of yourself. So I will fight.
Huh?
What's her deal? I do not really know, but she seems different from before.
Maybe she read a self-help book.
Wait.
But her eyes, she looks so determined.
You.
What can you tell by just looking at those button eyes? Anyway, make sure you turn off Minimaru. It'd be annoying if he started talking during the trial.
Oh, fine.
But still.
Somehow I understand what Monami is saying, I think. Anyway, let's get going to the last class trial.
Yep.
You're right, we need to fight as much as we can. No matter what hopeless truth awaits us in the end. This is the end. I keep seeing those words to myself over and over within my mind. I entered Monokuma Rock.
Yeah.
This elevator ride. This will be the last time for this too, right?
I hope so.
Well,
Let's worry about things after we're finished.
you are right.
More importantly, we must focus on the class trial before us.
Damn it.
The killer managed to kill someone like Nagato. There's no way this is going to go smoothly. I mean, I still can't believe one of us was able to do that. Nagato was problematic in many ways, but he was also a valuable asset during the trials. Yeah, you're right. In fact, during the Funhouse ordeal, we were completely dependent on him. But even if he's gone, the one who survived needs to stand and fight. We must fight. And then the door slowly opened. The bright light greeting us. Is that the light of hope? I bloody hope not. Or the light of despair.
Well now.
Well then, now that the chatbox Nagato is gone, there are only 6 of you left.
Shut the hell up.
And I've just fucking started this already.
Hey.
Hey, this is it, right? This is really the last class trial, right?
Yep.
Yep, it sure is. So you gotta show some enthusiasm and make sure you give it your all.
All right.
Yeah, I tell you, he said it. This is the end.
Now then.
Now then, let's get this trial started.
Viva killing!
This is the last class trial, let's show some enthusiasm and kill each other. This is the 5th class trial. According to Monokuma, This is also the last class trial. That curtain is about to rise. Nagato Kameda, the ultimate lucky student. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He came across as very sociable. But his true nature held such a demented thought process that was nothing like its outward appearance. He said he believed in hope more than anything else. He said he was yearning for a powerful hope that can overcome any despair. He said he would even help despair just to prove that hope will never lose to despair. And he said he'd become a stepping stone for despair. Basically, stepping stone for hope. Basically, his favourite word was hope. Hope, 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 hope. Hope, hope, hope. His way of thinking was completely screwed up. But there were also times he saved us too. Someone like him was killed. That was the end of him. And I have no idea at all who did it, but... there's no way we can end this without knowing. We will be consumed by despair. That's why we absolutely have to find out. The person who finished off Nagato. The killer who murdered Nagato. At least all I can do is congratulate the little bastard. In order to return from this despair alive, we need to reach the truth. If Monokuma says this is real last class trial, there's all the more reason we need to do this. And so, this life-threatening trial, filling with hope and despair, the last one, has begun. Would you like to say your progress? Hell to the yes! Okay. Yep. Have I got all the skill I need? There we go, that's another one. Okay, that should be enough.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you?
Also, why is she not stringed up like usual?
You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit? Chesto!
Okay, this is actually kind of sad.
One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow! It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who is attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger.
Yeah, but he threatened all of your lives.
Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid! There's no way in hell I'm the traitor!
Yeah, he didn't have the brains for that.
Now that's more like it! Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagato is here, right? Are they the same person? Oh.
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
Yep.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that
So
so far.
that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
I
That
don't
was
think that's the
Fuyuhiko.
case.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Okay, I've got to have a quick look at my bullets here. I'm actually a little confused. Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Okay, were the wounds in Nagito's body really caused by torture in the first place?
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So
Damn
that's
it.
why he was so beat up. What were they trying to... Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
The killer didn't tape. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Okay,
Crap! The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason...
I should probably really actually have a look at the duct tape. Wait. How are they trying to find the location if his mouth was taped shut?
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the
Damn it.
suspect is whoever found
That was Fuyu. I found it. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Okay, so I think I'll probably have to absorb the
Killer didn't
hiding
tape.
place
I'm telling
one.
you, they were torturing.
the reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat. What were they trying to find out by definitely the bomb's hiding place?
Oh yeah, I can't do that.
So, the suspect is whoever found the bomb.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it, but there's no way I'd torture someone.
Alright, give me a moment.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
No,
But
that's wrong.
I used that on that! The frick!
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything. If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like
I
that.
used it on that friggin' tape. I'm sure of it.
I'm prepared.
Oh, great.
Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Like he's got any room to call anybody stupid. Okay. Luckily, I've upgraded the sharpness of the blades in this.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
Oops, wrong thing.
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
Frick! Come on! But you can't have to. Yeah, actually, that
Pay
still makes
attention,
sense.
this
Never
is how
mind.
it went
Ignore
down.
me.
First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
Damn it!
like you said, if Nagito's mouth was, you obviously assumed he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about. Then, after they killed him,
I wonder what comes on the after they killed him bit.
Damn it!
like you said, if Nagito's mouth, you obviously assumed he couldn't talk, right?
Oh, get over
That
here.
was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated. Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you obviously assumed he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
Oh, frick.
and got in. Then, after they killed him,
Allow me to cut through those words! No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
But there was no blood underneath.
what did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors. We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? You have a crush on him or something?
It is a possibility considering those little hearts in the other episode. Are you in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
To be fair, it could still be used for torture. If they taped his mouth whilst the torture was happening and removed it after to ask the question, that is a possibility, but...
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer? If so, friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
We can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
Yeah. And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Because of the domino effect.
Which means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
Actually, technically, Akane caused the fire to happen, but she might not be the one who set it.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Because it was set up that way.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then, let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, they're right, we need to clear that up first. There they are.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter.
No.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
Nope.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Nope.
Or perhaps opening the door caused intense wind
Damn
pressure
it!
to tip over the lighter.
Okay, I have to slow down that one, because that's clearly the one, but the way that it just flew off there.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found.
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused.
There we go.
I agree with that. I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? Mm-hmm. It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second, and from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
No, because we had the audio of the MP3 player.
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
Plus, you wouldn't have been able to hear the drop, is what I'm trying to say.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect.
see.
You're talking about the MP3 player, right? Mm-hmm. That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. And that darkness allowed hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagato like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine, I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, you'll be fine. Those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Huh, it's not opening. Is there something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it, it's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Did I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Akane ignored the process, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
I would have thought that she'd been able to do is push her panel out of the way.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
With the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Yeah, the question is, how did they get back out? It's a locked room situation here.
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
That door was the only entrance to the warehouse. The problem Chiaki's talking about is the killer couldn't have left.
I see.
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
It is going to be a simple matter of doing his pulling a panel to do his block the door once by some sort of thread or something.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Huh?
You don't mean...
If that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
This murder was not a suicide! Don't start on that! The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse, there's only one person who could have done that. Oh, come on, please tell me it's not going to try and suggest...
This is my answer!
And so it is!
What if it was Nagito?
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Even at his own class trial, he's expected to be the murderer.
Are you saying this was a suicide? His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
Well, the spear is a possibility considering the rafters. We've already found that much out. But tying himself to all the other things and then stabbing himself in the hand, it's a little bit out there.
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like I said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. The burned rope?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Excuse you?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
Well, we know that he couldn't use his
That's
teeth
obviously impossible.
because his mouth was
Tying
duct
just the
tape.
legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Honestly, I really have to think of this one here. Okay, I could be entirely wrong on this, but I think the burned rope, based on the fact that it says that Nagato's right sleeve still looked clean, it should have some smoke damage on the sleeve at least. So I'm reckoning that hand wasn't actually tied up at all.
That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
Agree?
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
Ah, damn it. Wrong statement.
Crap! To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
I'm convinced it has to be the burned rope thing based on its description, but I'm not sure which to fire it.
Actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
Maybe it's an agreement I have to go
You
on.
couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
Ah, damn it! Come on.
Crap! To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
Frick off!
That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the leg, tying both arms would.
You couldn't do much with it. It'd be impossible.
How about if you use, or if you use your
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Okay,
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
there we go.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
Except, of course, the one that wasn't tied up.
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It was burned the fire. Where's the smoke damage on that side of his body?
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
His friggin' sleeves.
I see.
Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
The question is, did he stab his hand before or after somehow?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Excuse you?
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay
Excuse you?
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
What the frick? What the frick, Akane?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know.
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back. What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. Stand the knife up somehow? I'm gonna have a little look at the knife since
Even
that's
if
the subject
Nagito's
here.
How could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
No, I think that maybe
and slammed
she's...
his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what?
No, I think the drop might be the
If he
thing.
just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
I think the bloody girder might be the thing here. I'm not entirely certain if it was directly above his
Even if
stomach or
Nagito's
not.
right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
Okay, apparently that is not it.
It's wrong?
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
if he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
He's the ultimate lucky, so he's the...
Maybe he propped the knife somehow
So it's a possibility he could have done that.
and slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right
The
hand.
suggestion is by the blocking of all that it's something to do with the left hand bit. Wait a second. There is the possibility he could have actually held the knife in the other hand that he'd already bound, and then just, you know, whacked the hand over. Let's have a look, see. Yeah, the suggestion is from the other side that's based on the fact there's no blood there, that he was holding something on that hand.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his...
Let's just double check that it actually says that on that thing. Nope. It's the blood on left hand bit, if it is this.
If he threw the knife
But that's
into
not
the
an
air
option.
and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife expert?
So maybe this is an absorb one.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow
I agree with that.
and
But I
slammed
can't
his
do
right hand
anything.
down on it? Propped it onto what? If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
Yes, he could have.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand. Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
He stabbed it with the
He
left
threw the
hand.
knife into the air and let the knife fall. Could he stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife expert?
Nope.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Oh, come on, that should be it. He held the knife in his other hand. That much is obvious when you think about the fact there's no blood there. It's either that he clenched it around something or he just had his fist clenched for no apparent reason. Okay, I just conferred with Azure Zero on this one, and he thinks that the knife was stood up in the Monokuma plushie. And that is how it got stabbed, and that's why there's blood on the plushie.
It's wrong? Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Okay, apparently that is correct.
The life-sized Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Did he stab it through the Monokuma plushie's back or something?
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
But the plushie isn't near him.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
You can only hope.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie. So he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
Then wouldn't there be a bloody handprint?
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
No, because that thing was tied to the thing above, which we've established by the fact there's a clear spot where the blood is on that.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain,
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Excuse you, Sonia? Can we take a moment to process that sentence?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Yeah, Kazuichi processed that sentence.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out!
Like she said, In that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear.
I like how Fuyuhiko is the moral compass of the group.
It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right?
Look, shut up, Bear. We know that you consider suicide a murder, so...
But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right?
I mean, as it is, I still don't think it was a suicide, but... The bear has proven otherwise in previous times.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
You get him, Mon Ami. You get him. I'll watch from over here.
Monami sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
Well, maybe he didn't actually have to touch the spear for it to get into him. In terms of it was attached to the beam above and gravity might have done it a part of the job.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
Well, the thing is, he's the ultimate lucky student, so if he did is tied it to that thing and thought over time that's just going to uncoil itself and and he just basically wanted it to perfectly stab him in the real stomach, he's got enough luck to let that happen.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right, we made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. And even now.
Alright, let's do this.
I'm gonna have a look through this first.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No, it doesn't.
If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth?
No.
Or maybe he used his front tail.
Or maybe he...
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
Oh, come on.
What are you saying?
Look, the most likely thing is
awesome.
we've established now that he wasn't holding the knife in that hand. That doesn't mean he wasn't holding the chain which is connected to the spear. So all you'd have to do is release his grip.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
So that bit that wasn't because it was tied around the The girder, that's because it was being held in the hand. That's why there wasn't any blood on that point.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand.
The lack of blood.
The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange?
Because it was clenched.
He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
Nope.
That settles the description of that bloodstain, but it's not the only unnatural bloodstain.
Yep, it's the one on the chain.
Look,
And that bit.
there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
It suggests the position of the hand.
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
Clenching.
I see.
When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his
That's
palm
also why
and in the back of his
I just
hand.
assumed that he was holding the knife in the last thing.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Oh, come on, will you get off the dick jokes for once? That's my shtick.
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the
He
spear.
was grabbing the chain attached to the spear.
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
Not really. Suspended.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle, just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear, I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
The card.
I see.
That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
No, it was hoisted over the girder, you dipstick. All he had to do first was to throw that weight over before everything else.
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how could he stab himself in the stomach with the spear? Leverage!
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
Well, I don't disagree with that, but this is probably not the time.
At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time? What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
Right above his abdomen.
How it was positioned.
My real question is, did he duct tape his own mouth? That's what I'm wondering at this moment. Did he shut himself up so nobody would hear him screaming, or is that something that happened after? Take the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment. We'll put those together and think about it. Should be able to figure out where the spear was and what state it was in before it stabbed. We're going for a hangman's gambit, aren't we? Anybody remember how to do... Oh no, logic dive, never mind. Okay. Ah, frick. Okay, question 1. Where was the spear? It was above him. The frick is that thing? Okay, those are new. Okay, question 2. Besides the spear, what else was above? It was the gooder. Okay. So those things are just going to annoy me to no end here. Can I jump over them? Yes, I can. Okay, question 3. What item connects with the
It's all coming together! The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
Yep.
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
No, he understood basic leverage.
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
Well, whilst he was bleeding all over his face and arm, it would have probably got onto that, and when it fell off, it will have done is smeared it across that.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Still not convinced this is what happened.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then this is for real? He really committed suicide? Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping the spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end. Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy! Why would he do that to himself?
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, He was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Jeez, I'm starting to feel a little sympathetic toward him. How stupid of me. Completely underestimated his capacity for malice. Mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his malice took. I'd forgotten all about it until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right? Whatever became of that?
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
What? You're not satisfied
We've
yet?
not used all the evidence.
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think it's a mistake to assume that Nagito committed suicide, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? Is it because we don't know who the traitor is, or...
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
No, we're still
What do you
thinking.
think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
Never doubt the gut of Akane.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here.
No.
That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island,
No,
right?
no.
It's okay to reach such a happy ending,
No.
right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say understood.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death. Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death. It's something that even he couldn't have messed with.
You're gonna keep going? Here I thought we were finally finished.
Okay, what is it that he couldn't have messed with? I know if I do is take Monokuma's account into consideration. So that's fine still. I am so confused. What could he have not messed with? No, he could have messed with all of these things so far. Oh god, I am so freaking confused and I'm running out of time. I'm going with this, but I have no idea why.
I see! Is it about the Monokuma file?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
Was it the fact it was noon sharp and the fact that the firework thing went off at a different time? How did he know exactly when it was noon? That's probably not it. I'm confused. Cause of death? Oh god, there's so many of them! Ah! Ah! I'm fucked! Okay, Jesus! Oh god, there's so many of them! Frick! Everybody, slow the fuck down! My god, I've had this the entire time in the game and I didn't realise! I had that the entire game, and I didn't frigging
In this
realize.
particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Not as a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds in each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not? The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was the cause of death.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma,
I plead the fifth!
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Are you saying that applies this time too?
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
I wonder if it's related to the poison that was in Nagito's cottage. The poison specifically for Nagito's poison.
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide.
Yeah, it's a suicide, murder, mayhem mystery.
Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
Are you sticking up for him?
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here?
Huh?
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
Yeah, he was a cunt.
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh?
Well, I hope I'm friggin' wrong, but I won't be.
Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
What friendship?
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote? I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma! You heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait!
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Oh, splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
I swear if Nagito is controlling of Sami, I'll be pissed as all hell. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? Now I think about it, Nagito said the same thing. The absolute hope that can overcome any despair, he said he was yearning for that. Then this situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along. No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking. Even in death, he trolls me.
No!
Man, my heart was racing like crazy when I thought the voting time was going to start, but... Well, if you think about it rationally, there's no way it was going to happen. We haven't done this bit yet. Most of the players probably figured that out too. You're the only one who didn't know. Isn't that right, Monami? Hey, how much longer are you planning to sulk? Let's get along like we always do. Alright, you passed. Friendship is measured by how long you can stand the silence when you're all alone with someone else. So, Monami and I are the bestest of best friends.
Don't say such stupid things. I hate you so much right now.
Enough, why do I have to be hated that much? Besides, the fact that you're snapping me like that, I don't trust you at all. Not even a teensy tiny 1 millimeter bit. How sad. Distrusting your friend is much more shameful than being betrayed by that friend, you know.
We aren't even friends in the first place.
As your older brother, let me say this.
You're not even my brother.
It's sad to live a life without friendship. It's even sadder than watching a high school rom-com full of guys.
Well, there may be some demand for that. I mean, yaoi is pretty popular at the moment. Oh, I fell for it. I totally took the mandate.
And I think this might be a good place to end this episode just for today. Don't worry, as always, I will do is put both parts of the trial up on the same day so that you don't have to wait. I am Tea Drinking Turret, and if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. Bye!